Morning. Am I audible to you guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. So today we will start from the machine learning part. I guess most of you are already aware of this part. So it will be easy for you guys to go with and I can complete it fast. Okay. Let me share my screen first. So tell me, what do you understand from the word machine learning? I guess most of you are doing projects in machine learning. So just tell me the concept of machine learning. What is machine learning? Aman, what is machine learning? Aman, what is machine learning? Aman, can you hear me? Aman, fast. Either you say you don't know or you just answer. DK, what is machine learning?
Ma'am, it
Now
is
it
the
is the
study of
study of
computer
computer
algorithm that
algorithm that
improve
improve
effectively through
through
experience and
experience and
validation data.
Yes, correct. So machine learning basically is the subset of AI, and machine learning enables a machine to automatically learn from the data, improve performance from its own experience, and predict things without being explicitly programmed. So we should have a historical data, and historical data we can call it a training data. Okay, so machine learning algorithms build a mathematical model that helps in making predictions or decisions without being explicitly programmed. Okay, so how it exactly works? We just provide the training set, then machine try to find a pattern from that data set, and it builds the logical model, and whenever we give some new data, it try to predict the class of that. So what is the feature of machine learning? It just basically uses data to detect various patterns in a given data set, and it can just learn from past data and improve automatically, and therefore it's basically a data driven technology. So I guess you guys already know there are three types of learning. Okay, three ways of learning. What are the three types? What are the three types?
Supervised, unsupervised,
Supervised,
and
unsupervised, and reinforcement.
Correct. Supervised. What is supervised?
they already have a training data set where they already have some results and they can train from that.
Okay, unsupervised.
There is no set pattern, so they need to do the learning themselves without any reference
Reinforcement.
and reinforcement. So
Okay, supervised learning is like when we have a teacher to teach. Just think about the a baby maybe, and you are telling the baby how to separate shapes like triangle and square. So you are telling the baby that this is a triangle and this is the square. So based on your supervision, your baby is going to learn that, okay, this is triangle and this is square. Okay, so if you give the baby another shape, maybe a spear, maybe he won't be able to identify the thing because you have given the training only to identify two things, square and a triangle. Therefore, always make sure supervised training, you just provide the efficient like data sets. Okay, so based on your teaching or supervision only, the machine learning algorithm will learn. Okay, so supervised learning, you provide the label data. With the help of label data, you train the model, then whenever you give a new data, that means test set, it will predict the output. So there are two types of supervised learning. One is classification, one is regression. So I guess you guys already know this part as well. So what is classification and what is regression?
Classification is when we need to get the classes,
Mhm.
and regression is constant variables.
Yeah.
Regression is to predict the continuous value.
Yes. So in regression, we just try to find the relationship between input variable and the output variable. So it is basically used for prediction of continuous variables. Continuous variables may be your weather forecasting, market trends and all. And classification is when your output has like categorical values, like you have definite classes, yes, no, or true, false, or many different labels. Okay, so regression, there can be many types. What are the different types of regression? The basic one.
Linear regression, this is decision tree, random forest, as weird.
Yes. The main one is the linear regression. And you can say logistic. The all things you have mentioned, those are also correct. Like random forest, then support vector machine, those are also used for classification. Okay. So typical examples like linear and logistic. And all those things you mentioned are also correct. So what's the difference between linear and logistic?
In linear, we try to find a definite line or definite slope in the data.
Hmm.
Logistic, it's the same only, just extension of linear regression.
Yeah. So linear regression is mostly used for your predictive analysis. And linear is also mainly useful for suppose you want to guess or predict the value of certain things. Maybe you want to predict the current stock market value in next 5 days or 4 days. So there is no definite labels for that. So based on the historical data, like in your weather forecast, we see the history of the weather, like whether yesterday was sunny, rainy and all things. So based on the historical data, we try to predict whether tomorrow is going to be sunny or rainy or whatever. Okay, so linear regression mostly we can just define like with a normal line. So some lines will be like this. So this equation you can just represent at ax plus b. So what is y and what is x? I guess you guys already know this part.
It's a label and features.
Yes, y is your target variable or dependent variable. Okay, y is your target and it is dependent variable, and x is what? X is your predictive variables or your features, that is your independent variables, and b is just your coefficients, and a also coefficients. Okay, so logistic regression is similar type of regression, but mostly we can use it for classification problem. Okay, so here maybe dependent variables can be binary 0, 1 or anything, yes, no, anything. So logistic regression, we can use it for like finding spam and not spam. So it is also a predictive analysis, which is basically based on your probability, concept of probability. Okay, so it is a type of regression, but it is different from the linear regression algorithm in the term how we use them. Okay, in logistic regression mainly we use sigmoid function. Okay, it's a sigmoid function. Sigmoid function looks like this S. Okay, and logistic means in some places like when you practically apply it, logistic function is again kind of activation function which we use in neural networks. So sigmoid function is the logistic function here. So equation for sigmoid function, you can just say fx equal to 1 by 1 plus e power minus x. This is the equation of this sigmoid curve. Okay. So your sigmoid function is used to model the data in logistic regression. Okay, your fx can be like output value between 0 and 1, x is the input value, and e is just the base of your natural algorithm. So this fx you can also say sigmoid x. Okay, it's the same function. So it's used as a activation function as well. Okay, so again here we use a threshold value. Okay, so based on the threshold value, the values are rounded up. Main thing is we provide the output value as 0 and 1. So if anything goes beyond the threshold value, means we just round it up as 1, or any value those will be like less than your threshold level, then we just round it up to 0. Okay, so therefore in some places you can see in sigmoid function there is a particular range. So after this it's almost like same. Okay, it's all like it just rounded up to 1, and below the threshold it just rounded up to 0. Okay, so logistic regression can be again like 3 types. Binary can be like 0, 1 or pass fail, something like that. And multi-class regression mainly used for your classification, like you have to find animals, cats, dogs, lions and all. Then third one type is the ordinal. Okay, ordinal means when you want to find something low, medium, high, something like that. So logistic regression can be binary, multi, and ordinal. Okay, ordinal is like low, medium, high. Okay, there's another type is the polynomial regression. Okay, what is polynomial regression? Polynomial regression is just like your linear regression. What happens in linear regression? We just try to find a straight line. But in case of polynomial regression, we try to find a curve. Okay, so that data point just lines inside the line. This is polynomial regression. So the original features are transformed into the polynomial features of the given degree. Then they use the same linear model. So equation is almost same. You can just represent it like maybe a1x and plus a2x plus b. Okay, so only this part is going to provide you the curved line. Okay, in simple linear regression, curve is just like a straight line. In polynomial case, it's just extended version of this one. Then, as you said, support vector machine regression is there. Then random forest is there, decision tree is there, and all types of regression you can use for both regression and classification. Okay, the basic type is like linear one. Okay, and what is unsupervised? In unsupervised means the same baby, you are not telling the baby that which one is triangle and which one is square. You just giving him just all the shapes. Okay, then baby is trying to find out itself to look for any similarities. Maybe it will just look for the shapes, maybe edges or anything. It's up to the baby. So it will observe all the shapes, then it will classify or separate into two groups. One is square and one is triangle. Okay, so in unsupervised, we do not give the label. Your model tries to find any similarity or pattern in that unlabeled data set and try to predict the things. Okay, so again, same for unsupervised also, we are two types. One is clustering and one is association. So what is clustering? What is clustering?
Grouping of similar types of data.
Yes, clustering means just grouping similar types of data. And what is association? Association rules are mainly used to find a relationship between the variables in your large data set. So it determines the set of items that occur together in the data set. So association rule makes like if you use for marketing strategy, it will be better. For example, like if someone went to the supermarket to buy the bread, that means that person will automatically buy either butter or jam, anything related to the bread, right? So it always try to find out the relationship between variables in just large example. So for the marketing strategy, it's a better option. So it can just find out if one thing is purchased, what will be the other associated variables or other associated things the customer can buy. Okay. Now, what is reinforcement learning? Anyone?
Suppose the baby is asked to choose as among the triangle and the squares. If the baby gets the answer correctly, then we will go with probabilities of question.
Correct. So in reinforcement learning, there will be a feedback system. Okay, so same baby, same supervision. So you are not going to tell which one is the square and which one is the triangle shape. Okay, so baby will try to find out itself. So first time maybe he is correctly identified the triangle is one type of things, it's a triangle. So whenever he will select the correct answer, you are going to give him a reward. Okay, if he gives you the wrong answer, then he will give you, or I'll give him a penalty. So whenever the baby will know that I'm getting the reverse, that means he is predicting it correctly. He's identifying it correctly. But if he gets penalties, then he will learn that, okay, I'm doing it wrong. So main goal of the agent will be, or the baby will be, to gather the maximum reward at the end. So reinforcement learning is mainly used in case of robotics. Okay, whenever you want to build a robot or anything automated things, reinforcement learning is favorable, because the agent learn itself whether he's doing it correctly or incorrectly. Okay, so in most of the robotic things they use reinforcement learning, and main goal of the agent is to maximize the reward. Okay, so here it's mainly based on the feedback. So agent interact with the environment, then it sees whether it's getting penalty or the reward. Okay, so all three types clear: reinforcement, unsupervised, supervised.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we have other statistical models, that is your regression, all types of regression. So I can give you assignment on writing all types of statistical models. Okay, but you guys are already aware of all these types, like regression analysis, linear, and all types of linear things. So it should be easy for you guys. Next, I want to, okay, let's go for the classification part. So in classification part, let's go to naive-Bayes classifier. Okay, I'm just going for the naive-Bayes because you guys just learned about the Bayes theorem. Can you please explain the feature extraction? Feature extraction, well, it will depend on the data set. Okay, feature extraction can be different for both classification and the regression type. In classification, we have like definite features. So if you think, just for example, take your image. Okay, if you have the data as the image, then either you can take all the pixels as the features, because all the features just inside your images. Then another thing you can do is that you can use different methods to find the similarity, means the features those are more important to help you predict the thing. So if you take tabular data, maybe to like, suppose you are predicting price of a thing. Okay, then you will again have some different types of data sets. Then you have to find out which variable is more effective to predict the price. Or if you want to classify something, let's take a disease. So you have to know which variable is more important. Okay, so feature is nothing but the important variable that will be helpful to give you the correct output. Okay. So as I told you, in case of regression, we have the line of y equal to ax plus b. You have dependent variable and independent variable. So in case of dependent variable, that is your target, and independent variables are your features. So either you can use simple features like whatever you have given. So you have to explore the dataset. Explore the dataset means you have to find out which value is more helpful. Or if you cannot find out, you can use different feature extraction methods. Okay, there are different features extraction method. We will come to in the next unit. But just know that if you are trying to find out, you have to like if you want to predict weather, what should be the main variables? You have to see the temperature, correct? If you want to predict whether tomorrow is going to be sunny or hot, maybe you have to find out whether it was sunny today or not. So that, or the temperature and humidity is one of the feature that is going to help you to predict or forecast the weather. So you have to find out those variables. Okay, so for that you have to explore the data by yourself first. Okay, so then you can apply different feature extraction methods. Okay, feature extraction method, they can just provide all the features in just one vector, then you can just give it to the classifier. Okay. Okay, before neighbor is, since you asked this question, so in any machine learning algorithms, before going to this, I'll just explain this part then, if you are still confused. So first, we always go for, it's like a cycle, all the steps. So first thing will be always gathering data, right? You have to gather the data. So here what you do, you just acquire database from anywhere. So you just need to identify various data sources, then you collect the data, then that's all. Second part is your data preparation. So what you do in data preparation? So after collecting the data, you need to prepare it for the further steps, right? So here you mainly do two things. One is data exploration. Exploration means you need to understand the nature of your data you are working with. So if you don't know the nature of the data, then you cannot train the data. So before training the mathematical model or your classifier, you have to understand yourself. What is your data, the nature of the data, what is the characteristics, what's the format, what's the quality. So better understanding of data can lead you to the effective outcome. Okay, second process can be your data pre-processing. It's just part, but in real application we just take it like same thing. Okay, preparation equivalent to pre-processing and all. Next, third term, we can also say data wrangling. So data wrangling is nothing but cleaning your data and converting raw data into your usable format. Okay, so it is the process of cleaning the data, selecting the variable to use, and transforming the data to a proper format. Okay, so you have collected the data, so you have explored the data. Now you know that some parts are you don't need it. Okay, maybe there are some duplicate data, there are some invalid data, there are various noise involving the data, and there are some missing values. So it will deal with these types of issues like missing values, duplicate data, invalid data, and noise. So you remove all these things, and this whole process is called data wrangling. So sometimes we also call it like data filtering. So it is mandatory to detect and remove these issues because it can negatively affect the quality of your outcome. Okay. Next comes your data analysis. So data analysis, like since you have already cleaned the data and prepared the data, now there is the analysis steps. In analysis steps, you basically select any analytical techniques. Okay, I can say selection of analytical techniques. There are various methods involved to analyze your data, so you can use any approaches. Then building the model. Okay, here you are going to first build a model, then you will also review the result. Okay, so aim of this step is to build a machine learning model to analyze your data using various analytical techniques and review the outcome. Okay, so here you will just start with the determination of the type of the problems, where you can select the machine learning techniques. Like you can use different techniques: classification, regression, clustering approach, association, etc. to build your model with the prepared data. Then you are going to evaluate the data. Okay. Next is the train model. Train model will just improve the performance for the better outcomes. The more you provide the data sets or features, the more you will get things. Okay, training model required because it can understand various patterns, rule, and features. So features means selection analytical techniques. Here you are going to find the features. Previously, you are going to find out data exploration. You will try to understand what is the nature of your data. So based on your exploration, you will understand what should be the important feature that can help you to give the accurate outcome. Okay, and based on that, you are going to build a model and check the result. Okay, and finally, you will test the model with the data set which is not in the training set. Okay, so here you basically check the accuracy of the model. Okay, so in normal cases, it's preferable that whatever records in your training model, you don't use the same data for the testing. Okay, that's the basic. But nowadays algorithms are like they just split the data into two halves, then they use it. But there is some problems. There are some problems like there can be duplicate data. So it is possible that some data can be both in training and testing model. That's a general problem of most of the cases nowadays. But because of ease of these types of algorithms, like if you use Python, we have just split data function, right? So with the help of split, you just divide the data into two halves, one for training and the testing. But for image, if you work with image, we have to be very careful. We always try not to put the same image for both training and testing. Okay, there's two more things: underfitting and overfitting. Can you tell me what is underfitting and overfitting? What is overfitting and underfitting? Anyone?
It's the ratio of training test training testing. if training data set more than its what is required, then it's less than some.
Okay. And underfitting?
If the training data model data is less than the cost.
Yes, correct. So when you will get overfitting data, when your training accuracy is more than your testing accuracy. Okay, you are getting better accuracy during the training than your testing. Then it is overfitting. That means you have given it like so much training, it's like overtraining. So it is not able to find the predict things for the new data set, which is completely new to the model. So if your model is giving you more accuracy in training than the testing, then it is overfitting. And underfitting means your model is even giving you less accuracy or performing not good in case of training as well. Okay, during the training also you are not getting a good result. That is underfitting. That means you are not giving adequate amount of data sets it requires. Okay, that's another thing for the deep learning part. Okay, that part is not included, just I want to tell you guys. So if you just work with the deep learning models, then always make sure you have lots of data. Okay, the more you use complex models, the more data sets you are going to require. Okay, so if you don't have like adequate amount of data, don't just jump into the deep learning methods. Okay, and if you have less number of data, you can increase your data with the help of data augmentation. Data augmentation means you can apply various approaches. You can just rotate your images, you can add noise, you can just take various techniques to increase your data set. So whatever data set you have, if you want to increase the data set number of sets, then that is the data augmentation process. So what is data augmentation? Increase the data. And during the training and testing, just remember, if you have different classes, always try to balance the data set. Okay, so if your data training, suppose you have two classes, binary classification, for one type you have lots of data, but for one part, another class, you have very small amount of data. So your data is completely skewed towards one kind of data, and which is not desirable. So whenever you train a model, always make sure at least you have equal amount of data. There can be like, if you take maybe 100 up and down, it's fine. But suppose you have 500 records, and out of 500 records or data, 100 is like positive cases and less 400 is the negative cases. So this is not done. If you have 100, you can take 200 negative, or best way is just take equal amount. Okay, but 200 is still fine. 150, 100 positive cases and 150 negative cases is still fine. But don't make it like the difference is very high. Okay, 100 positive and 400, 500 negative. And especially in case of deep learning, maybe you have like millions of data, maybe thousands of data. So maybe you have 5,000 data, only 1,000 positive cases, 4,000 negative cases. It's not going to work. Okay, always try to balance the data. And if you don't have much data, then and you want also data, I mean, suppose you have 4,000, then here you have only 1,000. So you can increase the positive cases up to 4,000 uses by using various data augmentation process like rotation, adding noise. Maybe you can just rotate the data in 4 angles, add noise, then flip it and all. Okay, so when you train, make sure it's just equal amount of data. Okay, underfitting, overfitting, clear. So these are the basic things guys should know. Okay, so that's it for today. So can you switch on your cameras? Aman, you switch on your camera, but when I was asking you question, you didn't answer. Why?
मैम एक्चुअली अभी मैं बाहर था थोड़ी देर के लिए.
DK said no network. मन हमेशा तुम बहाना ही देते रहोगे क्या? चाहे देखिए. Okay. Okay, you guys have already received your mark sheet, I guess, in your student portal, and there is no discrepancies, right? Like in result sheet pass and in grade sheet it's fail, something like that. No issues, right? Okay, good. Okay, thank you all. See you on Thursday.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
मैम